I go by the name YOUNI-T because as you kind of become an artist, you kind of evolve into whatever you're supposed to be. I'm always put in this position of bringing different sides together.
Welcome, family. This is the NDC. So yeah, it's all I'm your man, your host, Trey Henderson, and I am super ecstatic to be here with one of the greatest voices of our time, YOUNI-T. How are you doing today?
I am phenomenal. Thank you for that introduction. If I was bad before, I'm great now. So I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me on the Indie Seat.
I'm well, and thank you so much for being here. This is dope because I personally know you.
Right.
So I'm really glad to be here. How did it happen?
You ever just kind of trip and fall into something? It was kind of like that. Yeah. So, yes, I'm from Wisconsin, Cowville, USA. Cheeseheads, love you. Yes, I do. Tiny town, 2,000 people, all pretty much white, Native American. I think we had one adopted Asian kid in school.
Wow.
So it was all, pretty well, uniform color-wise. And I loved Miami, so I wanted to get out of the cold. And first I did I made a pit stop in Kenya and sat there for a minute and did some music teaching there. And they offered me a music position teaching some kids over there. So I did that for a little bit. And I came back. I did not want to go into the cold. So I decided Miami, why not? So I landed here.
But why Kenya?
I was originally trained in opera. Because I was going to be a vocal ed major and do, be your choir teacher kind of thing.
Right.
And so I was originally in college up in Wisconsin, and I was trained in opera because that was basically all there was. Like, I had asked them at one point if I could go to an African drumming performance for credit, because we had to go for different credits throughout the year, and they're like, no, that's not real music. Like,
oh, wow.
Oh, okay. All right, I have to go very, very soon. So they gave me my little piece of paper and said, okay, toodaloo. And I was like, yeah, I'm out. So I met some international students.
Nice.
And they said, Kenya would love you. And so I went online and I just dug around to see what schools there were. And it turns out a private school was like a few blocks away from my friend's parents' house. And it didn't have a website or anything. I'm like, do you know of any of these schools? He said, oh my gosh, this is right next to my family's house. I'm like, great. At least I've got one person that can touch base with. So I did that for a minute. Came back to the States, decided Miami is where I wanted to land because I'd always come to Florida as a little kid, the whole Disney World thing. So I came down and jumped in with a band, and this bass player took me to a studio where I met the producer, and we were trying to, I'd never written a song myself. I'd always just been a cover singer. I've been singing since I was like 5. So, and opera was never my thing, but it's like anything. If you're going to get trained classically.
Right,
so I'm doing a lot of quotes. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Lots of quotes in this. Is it okay? It's okay. so I got classically trained just so I could get the technique.
You're quite accomplished. You've done the carnivals, and you've been with the best, and the rest of them are the big names. I don't know all those SOCA artists, but you've been there. You've done press in Trinidad and those other countries. You performed in front of thousands. I mean, tell me about that too.
So the producer in the studio, we were trying to figure out what shoe was going to fit this crazy foot of mine. So we were trying a little everything because, like you said, I do anything from Janis Joplin to Aretha Franklin to Adele to Shaka Khan to if it's a good tune, I'm down to sing it. So he is Trinidad rooted. His family's Trinidadian, and he was born and raised in Brooklyn. So he said, have you ever heard of SOCA music? And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it blew my mind that there was a genre that I hadn't even heard of. There's usually a thing like, oh yeah, I've heard of it, not my thing, or I like it, or I'm like, no, never heard of it. So he's like, well, you've never heard of Carnival? And I'm thinking Brazil instantly, because that's, Brazil made it up to Wisconsin, but the rest of the world didn't in their Carnival circuit. So I was like, no, I'm not familiar. So he, started showing me videos of, Super Blue and Destry Garcia and Machel Montano. And when I saw like the numbers and the crowds and just the madness and mayhem, but coming from this uber space of like self-expression, freedom, and love. Yeah. I was like, yes! Yeah. So and put me in.
And it just feels good.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest soca, but I'm from Miami, and of course there's so much here. It's a melting pot, literally. So people say overnight success. We're doing quotes again.
Yeah, right.
But how long has it been?
Big quotes on that one. Overnight success in 6 decades.
Right. No. How long has it been?
This is year number, we're going on year 11. So lucky 11, the infinite number. Yeah. Dear God, make it happen. Yeah, it's been a grind of epic proportions.
But you've had successes along the way.
I've done my, I've paid my dues for sure. More than probably some, just because, we got the color thing going and some people have issues.
What do they say to you being the white girl in soca performing on a stage in Trinidad?
It depends on who you talk to. If I've never had anyone in the crowd be upset. Like, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the audiences have always been like...
very receptive.
Receptive, like, kind of flabbergasted, mind blown. Certain members of the industry are like, no way. Here comes the white girl to take our music and to take it away and run away to America and all of this, like, it's wild. Like, I didn't grow up in that. I didn't grow up, like, I come from a family of, like, freaking kumbaya, like, for real, like, powwows with Native Americans when I was 5, and, like, for real, like, for real. And so to come into a culture of just, like, this whole, like, race segregated, and I mean, not like it's there that it's a Trinidad thing. No, obviously it's an American thing, and a global thing, unfortunately. But I was so unused to that, like, being such a big deal, because in my realm of being raised, it just wasn't a big deal.
You have the educational background in music. You're also a teacher. You've taught in public schools. You've taught in inner city. And on top of that, you've been very active in the community.
I go by the name YOUNI-T because as you kind of become an artist, you kind of evolve into whatever you're supposed to be. I found that I'm always put in this position of bringing, like, different sides together. Like you said, I've taught in inner city schools. I've been the only white person in the entire school, and for whatever reason, it was just kind of like I was put there. Like, I was, in my heart and soul, I was called to go to Kenya. I was called to, not to get into, like, a whole religious but basically, like, I'm one that I'm very in tune with. I know when there's a shift and there's something I'm supposed to do. When it presents itself, I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm doing this, but okay. So I went to Kenya. Okay. So I came back, and my big thing is, I'm all about being for the underdog. My parents and my family, my grandparents, my father, very big in helping the Native American community where I'm from. So I just grew up in that lend a hand. Right, exactly. And so when people, came calling and said, we need music here, we need music there, we need you, we need, it's like, and I even disgustingly had one of the first places I went to teach, I was offered a visiting administrator came to the school, saw what I was doing, and said, oh, well, we would love to hire you at the end of this year. Just finish out your contract here and come on over where we are, because I think you'll like it much better because it's an all-white school.
Wow.
And I was like, are you kidding me right now? I just looked at her and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of down for the underdog. So I'll pass. I'll pass and I'll do what I do to help people that need, and obviously you don't need. I am YOUNI-T, the American soca queen. I am the voice of YOUNI-T. I am all about bringing together people, culture, races, the whole globe in a unified voice of one love. And I am down to spread that gift, talent, whatever you want to call it, purpose, mission. We've been divided too long, musically, physically, color lines, all of it, and it's all a big waste of breath, energy, and space. So, you find me on YOUNI-T SOCA. Now, everybody get out a pen, paper, your tattoo gun, whatever you need to make this happen. It is YOUNI-T, Y-O-U-N-I, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Y-O-U-N-I dash T, together. So, Y-O-U-N-I dash T. SOCA, S-O-C-A. That's my official fan page on Facebook. YOUNI-T on Instagram, YOUNI_T, because they don't allow dashes. I will respond to private messages, because basically I've learned through experience of having, other people have represented me in different lights in different ways, and I found that Not that I don't appreciate their help, and they're great for certain avenues and certain links, but I don't mind dealing directly myself with anybody that, you know, is interested in knowing more about anything that I do. So hit me up.
This is the NDC. You've been with YOUNI-T. I'm your host. I'm your man. I'm Trey Henderson at the other Trayvon on Instagram and Twitter. We want to give a special thanks to the producers of this amazing show, Context of a Generation. So please hit those Instagrams up as well. Peace and blessings. We love you.
So that was the NDC. If you like what you saw and you want to be a partner, or if you want to collaborate with us, even if you're an artist and you want to submit your work, check out our website, contextofageneration.org, or go ahead and submit an email to us at submit@contextofageneration.org. And for all the artists, make sure you put your name, your social media handles, and attach some of your work as well. And for those who are interested in being a partner or collaborating, please email us and we would love to reach back out. Peace. That was the NDC. Thank you.